Well, this is Virtua Fighter 10th anniversary yet again. That weird combination of Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution characters and animations with Virtua Fighter 1 gameplay and graphical style, sort of. So let me just set up my options here, which you have to do every time because it does not save options. Okay, so the only other thing I have to set is the route, which I actually don't have to set because it's on the right thing, but there are two routes. These are just basically an arcade route of fixed order of characters to fight against. The first one is VF1 route that has only characters who appeared in the first Virtua Fighter game. The second one has characters starting with Virtua Fighter 1 and then the new characters who appeared in Virtua Fighter 2 and 3 and 4, and 4 Evolution. So we'll do the classic route first and then the second route. This game is the North American version, which comes on the, I did this wrong, didn't I? Yes. There we go. On the Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution disc, you go to Options, Special, and in the menus, and that will load up Virtua Fighter 10th Anniversary. In Japan, this was a standalone disc that you could purchase, and in Europe, it was a pre-order bonus for maybe for Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution. I guess I don't remember that part exactly. Just reading about it here recently, but this is the North American version, so it was just a freebie on the Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution disc. So that's cool. It's kind of weird, kind of quirky, like Virtua Fighter 1 was kind of quirky, but you know, sort of good fun. I would be playing Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution instead, but there's a hit flash effect when you punch somebody. There's like a bright flash, and it's in Virtua Fighter 4, but you can turn it off. It's in Virtua Fighter 5 and Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown, but it's not nearly as bright. In 4 Evolution, it's really bright, and I don't like it, so I don't play that game. So each character has two of these old-style, quote-unquote, Virtua Fighter 1 models. I don't know if this is exactly what Jacky looked like in Virtua Fighter 1. Some of these characters, like, well, Go, didn't come along until much later, so they went back and sort of made retro-style, low-polygon models for them. Jacky was around, and you can tell that his face and hair are definitely pretty weird-looking, and not just sort of low-poly interpretations of a much more detailed model. So this may be something like he actually looked in the first Virtua Fighter game, I don't know. And you can either be red Jacky with slippers or black suited Jacky with booties. So let's start with red Jacky, I guess.
Fight one! Ready? Go!
Now, I did play a little bit of a low-poly Jacky Bryant in Virtua Fighter 4, because in that game, when you get to first Dan rank in Kumite mode, you unlock a quote-unquote Virtua Fighter 1 model, and in that game it looks like the CPU Jacky here, the one in black. It was really throwing me off because it looks so bizarre with just this huge square chest. It's not so weird when you're just in low polygon land like this, but when you're in Virtua Fighter 4 with all the, PlayStation 2 detailed models and just one of the fighters is just this crazy brick-chested thing. It was so weird. I couldn't quite handle it. And it does look like it's pretty much the same model that black suited one. And then I think for Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution, or maybe specifically for this version, they added in a second costume low poly model for each character. So that's where this red one comes in, which I don't believe is in Virtua Fighter 4 Vanilla. Now, playing Jacky in Virtua Fighter 4, I found him surprisingly tricky. Like, it didn't really feel like his moves quite flowed together. It felt like you can do a stance switch by hitting all three buttons together, like this. And it felt like if you would do that, or sometimes if you do like forward, forward, or back, back, or maybe two buttons together, like punch plus kick, or see, like there I did that hop back. It felt like the way to get Jacky moving was to do these sort of initiating motions or something with the joystick, and so it actually felt surprisingly complicated to play Jacky in a sort of sprightly, flowing manner, which surprised me. It's not what I was kind of expecting him to be a fairly simple character to control. Ow. This is stage 4, so the CPU actually starts to fight back a little bit. Nice. The difficulty curve in this game is kind of weird. I mean, I've got it on hard, which there's one higher difficulty level in hard. And so, like, yeah, the CPU doesn't really do anything until you get to stage 4, at which point it is suddenly puts up much more of a fight. And then it doesn't really get any harder. Maybe very, very slightly. But it's kind of like it's like a nothing and then a sudden climb to this difficulty level at stage 4, and then pretty much a flat or maybe slight incline to the end of the game. Except for the final match, which on hard difficulty is suddenly harder. I'm getting my butt kicked, not paying attention. Alright, Kage. Now, Kage is sort of my nightmare at the moment because 2 sessions ago, I started out playing Jacky Bryant by playing Virtua Fighter 2 because I have that on PS3. I have a super hard time against Kage. I keep having this nightmare that I call him Cage. Did I already do that? I don't know. Anyway. Against Kage in Virtua Fighter 2, like, all of Jacky's basic attacks seem to hit high, and Kage, the CPU Kage, ducks a lot. And because they're high strikes, they don't hit crouching characters. So he's just constantly fuzzy dodging, you know, just crouching, dodging all my hits and throw attempts and everything. And the CPU just does not play like a human at all. It's just super robotic. I mean, you can watch them just frame perfect dodge out of the blue a jab you throw, just duck right under it, then pop right back up as soon as your fist pulls back, and then, you know, just cream you with some huge punch combo of their own. It's just ridiculous. Fortunately, this Kage was not quite that obviously leading inputs and so forth. Wow. Well, I need to start paying a little attention, I guess. Pai and her father, Lao, are kind of the 2 characters I do have the most difficulty against on hard. not counting the final character. It's like so. Jeez. It's just extreme violence all of a sudden with that weird kick of hers, jump kick. Like, I don't know how she summons this just sudden crushing.
Ready? Go!
Just like drops a ton of bricks on you somehow. Oh wow. Oh, okay. Mostly, I mean, his moves mostly feel like the same as they were in 4. As far as I barely scratched the surface, of course. But the surface moves seem, well, that might have been. There's a sloppy throw attempt where I accidentally hit all 3 buttons again. Ow. Ha! I can do that kick too. And I actually connected with it rarely. I mean, she basically jumped right into it as I was trying to do it, so it made me look good. Thanks, Pie. I do have trouble using that kick. It feels like it takes a long time to initiate, and so opponents will easily hit me out of trying to do it. Like if an opponent is trying to jab me, I just can't do it, and I'll just get hit lots of the time as long as I keep trying to do it. And then the CPU seems to be pretty good at just blocking when it's coming out. So then I just do this big whip. And Wolf is another guy who I tend to take a second to adjust to because he's just so different than any other character. So that was just me getting devoured by the Wolf. So, time to pay attention and not try to fight him like everybody else. Oh, I actually did my little auto mid-punch catching trick. You can never see. Oh my gosh. Well, you caught me blocking just for a second. Oh, jeez. That was dumb. Boop.
Fight 2. Ready?
Oh, I was so happy I caught him with the knee. That was the weird low gravity Virtua Fighter 1 style jumps. Oh, that was super awkward. Thanks for taking advantage of that. Wow, Wolf was not good at blocking that second hit. Blap. This is going way better than, well, I guess it's easier than Kumite in Virtua Fighter 4 was generally.
Ready? Go!
And it also just feels like they made Jacky, well, they made Loud more fluid too, but it feels like they made Jacky more fluid from between 4 and 4 Evolution, which is good because that's kind of the problem I was having with him, was that it just didn't feel like there was much flow to his attacks. I felt like I kept trying to launch these just disconnected long-range strikes, which, if they would all hit, were pretty devastating, but it was just very awkward and clunky, which was largely obviously due to me not knowing what I was doing. But, oh, if I had done a proper down attack, okay. But, you know, that's why I rely on the Virtua Fighter game itself to smooth things out a little and make it a little more intuitive to connect motions together. Oh, that was, see, I accidentally hit all 3 buttons and did a stance switch instead of hitting just 2 buttons to do a throw, which was what I meant to do. That is a continuing problem I have with letting my button dropped down, or my finger dropped down on the third button when I mean to do just a 2-button throw. That is a sloppy, continual problem I have. It just plagues me. Just get droopy fingers. Back throw. Oh, good.
Fight 2.
Oh, I'm recording this wrong. Oh, shoot. So, I totally forgot. I generally like to record this at 30 frames a second because you can see that, well, don't look at it, but just take my word for it. There's a horrible red and white flickering effect in the health bars when somebody loses health. It's a 60 frame per second flicker. So when I remember, I record this game at 30 frames per second, which renders it just a solid color and not a flicker. So then you don't have to let it crash into your eyeballs 60 times a second. But I forgot, so we're all just living through the flicker right now. And I'm gonna have to do more of it because I let Lau beat me again. And I can't do that, 30 frame per. I can't run the game at 30 frame per second on my monitor because I don't have that kind of sophisticated setup here. So I just drape. When I would record it at 30 frames a second, for my end, I would just drape a T-shirt over the top of the health meters, which would mean I couldn't tell how much health anybody had left, and it would also block the timer and sometimes even the. Oh shoot! Oh no! Oh, that's. As I was saying, my nemeses in this game are Lau and his daughter Pi, and I don't think Lau is quite maybe as fast as Pi, but he does seem to be more cruel and aggressive. There, boot to the face. Okay.
Ready?
We are playing under Virtua Fighter 1 style rules, so there's no sidestepping. This is not going well, is it? I got a little fancy there with combination attacks right before the end, which paid off. Caught him a little by surprise, I suppose. So this is technically the boss battle.
Ready?
And it is a different, so this is Akira in his gray gi. We'll see him again in a little bit in a white gi, and kind of different looking in my view. You see it does say final stage in the lower right corner there, so he is technically the boss. Just like he is in Virtua Fighter 2. And I think in Virtua Fighter 1, although I don't think I've ever actually played Virtua Fighter 1, so I can know that personally for sure. In Virtua Fighter 2, Akira at the boss stage is a real jerk. In this game, he's not nearly that bad. Uh-oh, but got a little of his crazy. Once he gets that shoulder and all that junk going,
Ready?
we're in trouble. I should have done a down attack. Sometimes you can get Akira just by being patient. Oop. See, he'll come in for one of his Tyrannosaurus Rex stompy hits. Oh, he got me on that one. patient and block,
Time's
you
up.
can counterattack, but he got in too many of them that time when I was not being patient. He also got one that really threw me when he did that low back fist attack. I was like, oh man,
Ready?
doing that, I'm
Go!
in trouble. Can't block these low back fists. What the heck? That never works. Ow! Well, he punished that pretty well. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Oh dear, this round has gone badly. Oh, I didn't know I was gonna do that. Attack. I meant just to do
Fight 2.
back plus kick, which is usually just a long range kick combination. That. So I don't know what I did. I hate the thing where you can't turn around in time. That was stupid. Whoa, that did a lot of damage. I'm really glad. I thought I was in trouble.
Fight 3. Ready? Go!
What are you doing? Goofball. Whoops. What are you doing? That was just like this grandstanding, throw your fists out to both sides business. Oh! I'm gonna have to reread this, but I think the guy who popularized the martial art that Akira is supposed to be doing, he like got a lot of publicity like with these videos. This was, you know, back in olden times when they did have cameras. You would get footage of him apparently wrestling bulls, but accounts have surfaced since then saying that it was all a staged thing against these bulls who were tied up or somehow restrained or something, so they couldn't really fight back correctly, and they were really in pain, and it was not a cool thing for him to be doing at all to these poor animals. But I don't know if any of that's true, but he was definitely pretty showy with the way he would get publicity for his martial art. Oh boy. That's where, like, I try to throw, and her throw is so much faster to get off the mark. Dural is not the boss. You see in the lower right it said bonus stage. It's too late to comment on that. So she's just this bonus character, so you can't continue on normal difficulty. I could beat her pretty regularly. She couldn't defend very well. On hard difficulty, she does defend well, and I don't think I beat her yet on hard. But it doesn't matter, you get to this same ending anyway. And that is that. So that was the VF1 route. And those were all characters who were in the first Virtua Fighter game. These endings, or these holographic style animations here, are the end of each fight that I just won. So there's where I took out Kage. So I finally got Pi with that flip kick. Sweet. Forever preserved in hologram. And then in the foreground we have this list of all the Virtua Fighter games on arcade and console. That was the first one I got, Virtua Fighter 3 TV on Dreamcast. I did not like it and was horrified and did not go back to it. But Virtua Fighter 4 on PS2, which just scrolled off there, that I got for some reason, and I just fell in love with it. And it's probably still my favorite Virtua Fighter game. That game is just, there's a real inspiration to it. It just feels like this really, really cool, holistic creation.
Game over.
This game here, Virtua Fighter 10th Anniversary, not so much. And Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution, which is the game disc this is on, I did not love so much. It kind of felt to me like it just sort of remixed a lot of the stuff from 4 somewhat unnecessarily. And I liked 4, well, and what really hurt me was that it took out the AI mode. And it changed the Kumite mode, but really it was taking out the AI mode that really upset me. Because that was actually what I mostly played, was just training an AI and letting it go loose in Kumite mode or whatever. Oh well, alright, so now we're going to do... No, we're doing the same route because I forgot to go to options. Can I get out of this? The last 2 times I've done this, I have totally screwed up changing the options. So I'm just getting old and addled. Alright. So now this will be the evolution route, and we will start with Akira, but you'll notice it'll be a different Akira. I'm going to take the other Jacky.
Fight 1. Ready?
Yeah, so it's...
Go.
And it looks to me like a younger Akira. I don't know why. I think his hair is a little different. I don't know. But he's definitely in a white key instead of a black key, so whatever that means. I suppose this is meant to be the Virtua Fighter 1.
Ready? Go.
Well, no, that doesn't make sense. I don't know which it's supposed to be. I think I was thinking maybe one was supposed to be Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution Akira, and the other was supposed to be Virtua Fighter 1 Akira, but that doesn't really make sense any way you slice it, so I don't know what they're supposed to be.
I done handcuffed lightning.
Did they take out his win animation from 4 where he sort of spanks his heel and extends his heel up to the camera? I thought that was where he said I done handcuff lightning, and he was doing that in 4. It looked like a different animation. Is in place in 4 Evolution, maybe. Here's a good old life preserver lion from Virtua Fighter 2.
Fight 2. Ready? Go.
Oh, hit me. You struck me. So it seems like if you do this stance switch, you get in like, he does extra motions or something, but I don't know, it all feels very odd to me. I don't understand any of that. I haven't, of course, done his command training or anything, so I don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm just getting in and banging away on buttons.
Fight 1. Ready? Go.
I always miss that. Oh, there I got a little of it. Oh, nice backwards moonsault, Shun.
KO. Fight 2. Ready? Go.
Oh, I should have done that. Oh, he's tricking me. Oh, this has become very awkward. Oh. Should do more of those down attacks.
Yeah.
Flexing. Okay, here's where it might start to get a little tricky.
Ready? Go.
Ali from Virtua Fighter 3. Yes, so he went up from Akira, who first appeared in Virtua Fighter 1, to Ryan and Shundi, who first appeared in Virtua Fighter 2. This is Ali, who first appeared in Virtua Fighter 3. The other new character in 3 was Taka Arashi, the sumo wrestler, but he is not in 4 Evolution, so he's not in this. He doesn't return until Virtua Fighter 5 R in the arcade. Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown on console. Oop. Oh, jeez. Allie is such a strange character. I'm really bad at playing her, and I'm bad at understanding when she gets on these. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Fight one.
Allie, why can't you be nice and simple like Virtua Fighter 1 characters? Don't just hit people. And you know what kind of hits they're gonna do. You know, change things up and do strange, subtle things and in between things. And
Fight two. Ready?
I think she'd be a big, pointy-haired freak like Jacky. That's what I'm saying. Ow. Oh, that got weird. Boop. You really need to learn better throws for Jacky. That throw is just so weird. It's not a cool throw animation, really. I don't even understand what it's supposed to be, like, anatomically speaking. And I guess he's just... Well, I guess it's like... I was reading a little about Jeet Kune Do, which is what martial art Jacky's supposed to be using, and it's the martial art created by Bruce Lee, of course. Dang it. And it focuses on just very quick, non-telegraphed strikes of, you know, great power. So I guess what it's supposed to be doing there is just he's doing a sudden, powerful, just pop with his fist into the chest of the person that he's grabbed. But I'm just not sure it makes a whole lot of sense physically. Like, could you really get a really damaging blow in like that without really any pullback on your fist? And
Ready?
I don't know. I guess I'd have to take Jeet Kune Do and find out. Oops. Make sure we stop defending. Oh dear. There. A beat knuckle. That's the best name for an attack. Beat knuckle. Wait, is it burn knuckle? Dang, now I forget. Well, they're both pretty good.
Fight one.
I think it was beat knuckle.
Go.
There's no move list in this game. I don't think. No. I have some trouble against Leifei in any Virtua Fighter game. He gets into these seemingly unstoppable motion flows of his, and he just keeps hitting me. Which all goes to show you that I need to be better at defending. He also does a lot of low strikes or combinations into low strikes, and then the other main thing he does to stymie me is, so there's some low strikes, he'll go into stances where he's leaning he's sticking one leg way forward, but then leaning his weight back. So his torso is sort of out of your reach because his legs sticking forward in your way, so you can't throw him, and that just always gets me.
Fight one. Ready? Go.
Oh, I finally got the combo there.
Excellent.
Yeah! Finally did a down attack. Down attacks, you actually have a big window to do down attacks in this game. And you can also do in Virtua Fighter 2, so I think it was kind of a thing in the early Virtua Fighter games. Down attacks were pretty easy money, and I've sort of been conditioned by the later Virtua Fighter games not to do them too often, because the later Virtua Fighter games, it's a lot trickier to actually land them without the opponent rolling to the side or dodging or something, and then laying a pretty brutal counterattack in you as you sail in and miss your attack on what had been their prone body. I have trouble with Vanessa in a lot of the Virtua Fighter games she's in, but not really often in this. I don't know why that would be exactly. Of course, I say this as she's very slowly mauling me. Like, I think I was having real trouble against certain characters with Jacky in Kumite, and I think other Jackies, I could not beat other Jackies.
What am I lacking?
Who else? Oh, he looks so sad with his sad polygons. And I think Vanessa I had really having trouble beating in Kumite with Jacky. And then I think probably the other one that jumps out was Leifei. I don't know if I beat a Leifei either. Although I did, I started having success against Vanessa's when I started using back plus kick. That, which is just this sort of long range thing that kind of kept me out of her striking range, it seemed like. And the AI was not very good at adjusting to that. Like, a few times it did evade and get right past me and then get in, but of course in this game you can't evade, so that's probably a balance issue that I don't know if they could actually fix, or even tried to fix, like where certain matchups really might rely a lot on one of the characters being able to evade to get their way in. Like, I wonder how it is with grapplers in this game if they can't evade to get in. And Vanessa is a semi-grappler at least. Well, Brad's not doing very well against back plus kick either. Oh! Just went right into a Brad there. Grabbing my hair or something. Should have done a down attack. Oh well. And Brad is the second to last character. Well, actually, some characters I do have a lot of trouble with Brad. He's not because he's much tougher than any of the other characters after stage 4 or so. Go is the boss of the evolution route. He's not particularly tough either. Like, I would much rather face him than even the relatively weak Akira in the VF1, in this game's VF1 route. Go is not really set up to be a boss character in his design, whatever that means. So he's just, okay, he hit me a couple times at least. Oh, now he's making a run for it. Well, he just decided to start blocking everything. Alright. Okay, so can I actually make a good run at Doral? I've not been able to. I don't have a strategy. She just seems to be able to, because she can use, I don't know how many moves from each character she can use or does use. Oh, auto parry, I'll take it. Okay, so just counter punching, basically.
Fight 2. Ready? Go.
Oh. She changed up her offense a little. Yeah, this needs a new strategy now. Because she's just blocking everything. Dang. Okay, well, shucks. I had a strategy for the first round, and then she changed. She learned. Okay, she's just gonna block everything. Maybe throws then. Oh, no, not there. That's not a throw. That was a bad input. Shoot. Running out of runway and time.
Why?
Well, I got one round off her. So that is that. I had a much easier time with Jacky than who was I playing just before this? Shundi, I guess. Some characters I have a really tough time with in this game. Who's it? Was it Owie? No, I didn't have a great time with Owie. No, her. Well, I can't remember. Next, I will be playing Jacky in arcade mode of Virtua Fighter 5. So we'll see what they do with him there. I kind of liked the feeling of him in this game. I think it was a good improvement on Virtua Fighter 4. It doesn't feel different. Like it doesn't take you out of anything you learned in 4, but it just feels like everything goes together more smoothly. So that's pretty much the ideal upgrade of a character from one game to the next, as far as I'm concerned. And it probably hit a new move or two in there that wasn't in the earlier game. So it'll be interesting to see if that is the sort of improvement that continues to come along for Jacky, going from this game to Virtua Fighter 5, or if they make some more sort of radical change to him, which is possible, or at least change to the way his moves are, the particulars of his moves and command inputs and so forth. But that is for the future. For now, thanks for watching this little soiree through Virtua Fighter 10th anniversary with Jacky, and since you were so patient and kind to sit through this, I hope you'll maybe sit through some more of my videos, but if you don't, even if you don't, thanks for watching, and maybe I'll see you around.